Imagine if every time you lose someone you care about, you have to cut off one of your own fingers. Not a metaphor, not an ordinary symbol, but really cutting the finger joint as a sign of grief. This extreme tradition has really been done by a tribe in Indonesia, precisely in the interior of Papua. They are the Dani Tribe, one of the most famous tribes in the Baliem Valley. For some people, this tradition sounds scary and difficult to understand. But for the Dani Tribe, physical pain is considered as the most sincere form of love, respect, and grief to family members who have passed away. This tradition is known as Ikipalin. How exactly is this tradition done? Why do fingers have to be cut? And why is this tradition finally starting to be abandoned? This is the story of one of the most extreme mourning traditions in the world. The Dani Tribe is one of the original Papuan tribes that lives in the Central Mountains area, especially around the Baliem Valley, Papua Mountains. This tribe is known for their culture, which is still very strong and unique. For many years, they lived isolated from the outside world until they were finally discovered by modern explorers in the 20th century. The life of Dani's people is very close to nature. They live in a traditional house called honai, hunt, farm, and live communally with a large family. In the culture of the Dani tribe, family has a very important meaning. The relationship between family members is considered a sacred bond that is inseparable. Therefore, when someone dies, the feeling of loss is considered not only an emotional wound, but also a spiritual wound. And this is where the Ikipalin tradition appears. Ikipalin is a tradition of cutting the fingers as a symbol of deep grief due to the loss of a family member. This tradition is usually done by women, especially mothers, sisters, or close relatives of the deceased. Every finger joint that is cut symbolizes the pain and loss they feel. For Dani's people, sadness is not enough to just show it by crying. Heart wounds must be realized into physical wounds. They believe that physical suffering can help reduce emotional pain and show a final tribute to a family member who has passed away. Before the cutting process is done, the finger is usually tied with a rope for some time to reduce numbness and blood flow. After that, the finger joint is cut using a simple sharp tool such as a small axe, knife, or other traditional sharp objects. The wound was then burned using fire to stop the bleeding. Horrible, but for them, it is a form of love and sacrifice. Even in some elderly women of the Dani tribe, we can still see the missing fingerprints due to this tradition. Even though it looks extreme, Ikipalin is not done for no reason. In the belief of the Dani tribe, death is not just an ordinary farewell. They believe that the spirits of the deceased still have a relationship with the abandoned family. The pain of cutting a finger is considered a form of respect, as well as a sacrifice. Maintains spiritual balance. In addition, this tradition is also believed to be able to ward off bad luck and evil spirits that may appear after someone's death. The closer the family relationship with the deceased, the greater the form of grief shown. Because of that, there are people who lose more than one finger in their entire lives due to frequent loss of family members. This tradition is also a symbol of family solidarity. Sadness is felt together, not borne alone. In the eyes of modern society, this practice may be considered painful and unreasonable. But for the Dani tribe, this tradition has a very deep cultural and spiritual value. Along with the development of the times, the Ikipalin tradition began to be rarely done. The Indonesian government and various humanitarian organizations began to ban the practice because it was considered dangerous to health and violate human rights. In addition, education and the influence of the outside world also made the younger generation of the Dani tribe start to leave old traditions. Now, instead of cutting fingers, some families choose other ways to show condolences, such as cutting hair or doing safer traditional rituals. Even so, the history of Ikipalin remains an important part of the cultural identity of the Dani tribe. This tradition is a reminder that every culture has a different way of understanding love, loss, and respect for family. The Ikipalin tradition may look scary to some people, but behind that pain, there is a deep meaning about family, love, and respect for those who have left. The Dani tribe teaches that sadness is not only felt in the heart, but also becomes a symbol of sacrifice and an inseparable bond. Today, the tradition is starting to disappear from time, but the story still lives on as one of the most unique and extreme cultures that ever existed in Indonesia, and maybe it reminds us that every human has a different way of expressing loss, because in the end, love and sorrow are the universal languages that all humans have. Thank you for watching. If you like unique cultural content and world mysteries like this, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell. See you in the next video.